Shoham, right?
Yes.
Okay, so have you already submitted, Shoham?
No, we are just approaching the problem today because we were in another datathon.
Okay, okay,
Today, from 2 3 days, we are working on it.
okay.
Initially, we thought that we will train ANN, and then for unsealed labels, we'll again give to GenAI prompts. Thus, I asked that one.
No, no, no. So we are not giving any unseen labels during the inference
Okay.
stage. But yeah, I mean, just make sure that you have gone through the evaluation criteria this time. It's not
Yes, yes.
straightforward. Yeah, it is not going to be based only on the leaderboard scores. So because a company is also associated with the event, I mean NIQ is sponsoring the event, so they are also looking for some interesting approaches, right? So just training a T5 model, which many of the teams have done during the phase one. I mean, we gave out those tutorials, and many of the teams actually kind of copied the codes, just played around with the codes here and there, and submitted their solutions. So we accepted those things in phase one, but that is not something which is of interest to the company, right? So from company's perspective or from the organizers' perspectives, I mean, it is important that participants are also coming up with something interesting, something which is not naive. Okay, so just make sure that you have gone through the evaluation criteria properly. So there is only 40% weightage on the leaderboard scores this time. 20% will be on the efficiency of the code. But as far as efficiency is concerned, there are three things. One is number of model parameters that you are using. So lesser the number of model parameters, higher your score. Then training time, lesser the training time, higher your score. And then test time, inference time, right? So lesser the inference time, higher your score. So these things are objective. I mean, there is nothing subjective here. And there is 20% marks on the inference, on this aspect, um, like the efficiency part. And then the remaining 40% is going to be subjective evaluation. That is going to be with respect to the originality or the novelty of the solution. Okay, something which is not straightforward. I mean, something which you guys have come up with or thought of, which is not covered in the tutorials that we have shared. Something new. Okay, and it's it's not compulsory that you have to just break the shackles and come up with absolutely something new. That is also not expected, because we understand that this is a serious research problem, and a lot of research is already going on in this space. So but if you can think of something uh, which is um, not covered in the tutorials, yeah, something new on your part, that will still be considered. But again, I mean, better the solutions, higher the rankings. Now, what defines better? That is going to be subjective. So all of us judges will be there, as well as there will be some industry experts as well. So we will be, evaluating your solutions. We will discuss with you. It's not that we are just going to be going to keep that marking hidden from you and why we are taking such a decision. We will be discussing with you. We will have a session like we had in phase one, but that evaluation is going to be subjective, and we will justify like why we are giving such a score, and we can also discuss with you. So don't worry about the evaluation criteria. Just think that you have to come up with something interesting, something novel in order to solve this problem. You can browse literature on this problem space. This is attribute value prediction. It's a very well researched area. There are many papers which have been written on this particular problem statement. You can look at them, you can think of some maybe modifications to the existing solutions, and you can build on top of that as well. So yeah, I mean, make sure that you understand the evaluation criteria and you are taking appropriate steps. We were planning to discuss something today itself. Let's see. I mean, let us wait for some more people to join, then I will start that discussion, like what approaches you could probably take. But yeah, if you have any further questions, I mean, along this direction as well, please let me know or let us know. And yeah, let me just declare one thing, that we have decided, more or less, that total around 30 participants will be called to IndoML, and they will be kind of, I mean, their stay will be completely free. All the benefits that other participants By participants, I mean like other forum participants, not the Datathon forum participants. So all the benefits that other forum participants are enjoying, the same benefits will be provided to all of you as well. By all of you, I mean maximum 30 students or 30 participants. So your stay will be free. You will be, getting lunches and dinners. The banquet dinners is there and all that. And yeah, your travels are also going to be reimbursed to a certain limit. We will be sharing the limit hopefully by today. Okay. So it depends upon the distance between your institute or your organization and BITS Pilani Goa, and accordingly the limits have been set. I think the maximum is 5,000 or 6,000, so that will cover. So we have already checked while setting the limits, so that will cover your three-tier AC, train tickets to Goa campus. So yeah, I mean those limits will also be shared with you. So we really encourage all of you to participate at least, because without participation, without submitting your solutions, you won't be given any certificates of participation also. So it only applies when you have submitted something on Codalab and you have your score on the leaderboard. Only then you get a certificate of participation. So please participate. And yeah, hopefully if you are in the top 10 teams, then definitely you will be called. Okay, maximum to a limit of 30. But I hope that we will be able to call the top 10 teams, because not all the teams have three participants. So our objective is to bring on board around 8 to 9 teams, and then we are also planning to call some good Samaritans. We have who are continuously discussing uh, right from phase one on our Discord forum, who is participating continuously in both the phases, then who are helping each other in the forum. So we are also looking out for those names, and we will be calling some of the good Samaritans as well, even if you are not part of the top 10 or top 5 teams. That does not matter. So this is separate. So we are really trying to help you all out, and to help you all get an experience during the symposium as well. So just make sure that you are taking advantage of this opportunity. Okay, so please do participate, and if you have any further questions, just let us know. We will be discussing about the dataset in a short while.
Hello, Razi. Am I
Yeah.
audible?
Yes.
Had a quick question regarding your previous explanation. When you said about efficiency and
Yeah.
model parameters,
Hmm.
so what's happening is the classification approach is not giving good accuracy.
Hmm.
So most of us have shifted to generative AI approach, as I suppose, uh,
Right.
because the thing that retail price and all, they have very limited context, and also the words are given in short forms. So
Hmm.
classification approach is not working out. So when generative AI approach comes, uh, the efficiency is pretty much compromised, because for each sample it takes a minimum of 1 second to uh, output the values.
Right.
Like so for the test set it is like 80,000, 85,000 samples, so it takes almost 1 second, like, or 24 hours for the test set to hold run. So how will that be taken into account? And model parameters based on the leaderboard
Hmm.
accuracy. So the more parameters, the better the accuracy is. Now, what is the trade-off when you see that we'll consider accuracy with the thing? Because you understand, right? When you decrease the model parameters, the accuracy is getting highly affected.
Hmm.
So that's the
Yeah,
thing.
see, I mean, that's why we have kept the lesser weightage on the efficiency. We understand that majority of you will be going after this Gen AI solutions. At the same time, this generative solutions. At the same time, we also encourage those who are starting new to participate as well, even if you are not fighting for the top 5 or top 10 positions. Okay, we still encourage you to participate. So even if someone wants to explore a classification approach, he or she is free to do so. I mean, the team is free to do so. And regarding your query, I completely understand that higher the parameters, usually better the results, but that is not always true. I mean, you can think of that the out of the box, um, you know, out of the box responses from bigger LLMs are almost always better. Okay, but in a specific domain, when you are fine tuning, I was mentioning about the pre-trained base model. okay, which you are playing on, let us say, the GPT model, not the chat GPT one, just the GPT base model. Okay, now you are probably throwing some queries to it and you are expecting some answers from it. So there you can argue that, okay, I mean, if I compare between GPT-4 versus GPT-2, so GPT-4 is 1.76 trillion parameters and GPT-2 is 1.5 billion parameters. So it's a huge difference. So there you can expect that GPT-4 is going to give out good performances, better performances. That is going to be expected. But thinking from an industry point of view, you cannot think about deploying a 1.76 trillion parameter model, in the industry. Okay, so those kind of models are usually like proprietary, and we only access to those models using API calls, right? So that's why we kept this factor of efficiency, and we only awarded 20% of weightage to this. We understand that accuracy will be more important, and that's what is more important on, and that's why we have given out the leaderboard so that you can check your scores. And the subjective evaluation regarding the novelty of the solution is also accounted in the accuracy part, I would like to say, not in the efficiency part. Okay, but yeah, I mean, if you are coming up with something, let us say, which is I mean, let us say you are just training. So I can give you some hints. For example, the gemma, you can try out the gemma model. Okay, gemma 2 billion model. Okay, and you can try to figure out like how you can better fine tune the model, right? So gemma 2 billion, I mean, gemma 2 2 billion is only a 2 billion size model, and versus, let us say, you are getting fair, I mean, you are getting, let us say, 59% accuracy with the gemma model, and then you switch to llama 3.1 model, which is an 8 billion size model, and you are, let us say, you are getting 61%. Now which one will you choose?
Uh, that is true, but
Hmm.
the actual trade-offs are very the distance is very far. Like I have tried with all kinds of models from 1B to 7B.
Hmm.
Fine-tuning 1B, 1.5B, 2B models is it's a huge trade-off. Even if you train for 10 epochs and all, it's just that their performance is very, very low. Like,
Okay. um See, on the efficiency part, we are actually trying to keep that as objective as possible, in the sense, um, lesser the number of parameters, higher the rank. I mean, that is what we have thought about. If you have any suggestions on how we should be evaluating the efficiency part, we are all I mean, you are all welcome to share your opinions. We can think of that. But that is true, but then we cannot be dealing with big sized models. Like we
of
personally,
course, I
what I have,
understand.
yeah, I mean, what
Like,
I mean, coming from the industry, what I see here is that usually people try out models which are not more than 2 billion or 3 billion size. Okay, I mean, going to the 7 billion or 8 billion size models is also an headache. Now for gemma
yes,
also there are multiple variants. I mean, 2 billion size models are there, 9 billion size models are there, 27 billion size models are there. So, but rarely, I mean, we are using, bigger sized models for the final training. Okay, for data preparation, for data generation, all that, that is fine. But for final trainings and for deployment purposes, we are mainly looking for something where we are, we are okay with the trade-off in the accuracy. So let us say 61% with a much higher sized model and 59% with a smaller size model. We will go with the 59% model. Okay.
of course,
So
fine.
that is what we look out at in the industry as well. But I completely agree with your point that as you have more number of parameters in the model, there is a higher chance that your results are going to be better. And if that is, but again, I mean, the point which I was making earlier, that a lot depends upon the fine tuning process. I mean, when you are just playing with the base model, then that trend is almost always true, that higher the model, higher the number of model parameters, better the results. But those are usual generative results for general purpose tasks. Now when you are
Yeah,
fine tuning the model for a specific task, okay, and here the domain is also very niche, it's an e-commerce domain, and that too you can see that the descriptions are not very descriptive, right? I mean, they are just looking like gibberish. I mean, they have been taken from invoices,
exactly.
so they are not
Even
uh,
humans cannot predict which
cannot
one
understand.
is going to be what.
Absolutely. we,
But
I
the
mean,
phase
I
one
have,
was very good. Like the description was, even a model could get an accuracy of 92% with just nothing.
hmm,
But for this, the smaller models are like they're pathetic.
okay,
They're failing very terribly.
okay, okay. Yeah, that is going to happen. Even I have personally, I have worked on this data set, and I can completely understand what you are saying. Even I have faced this issue. This data set is very difficult for even the humans to understand. But this is the real world data set. The Amazon reviews data set was actually cleaned before it was, hosted.
Yeah.
So Amazon review data set is fine, but when you come in the industry, I mean, these are the additional challenges that you have to face every day. Okay, I mean, data sets are not very clean. There is a lot of gibberish looking text. A lot of
True.
information is not consistent, but still you will have to, find out a way so that you can bring some positives for the business. And that is why they are paying you. So
Sure.
a
I understand.
lot of things differ between academia and industry. So I completely agree with you. And that's why you can see the trend as well. On the Coda lab in phase one, people were reaching around 93, 94% accuracies. Now it's very
Yes.
difficult to cross even 50, and
Yeah.
that is supposed to happen. That is supposed to happen. Okay.
You said you were personally worked with this data set. Like, what
Hmm.
was the maximum you could get? Like, just for the number, like,
I
because
think I got around 48,
okay,
and on Coda lab I don't know what is the current status. I think it's
44.
44. Okay. So let's see. I mean, that's why I'm not. I'm actually a bit hesitant to, share my results as a baseline, because that might demotivate. So, but yeah, I mean, I have personally have obtained around 48%. I cannot reveal my solution, but
Of
yeah, I
course,
mean,
that
let's see how people are faring. But again, I mean, see, whatever you are mentioning right now, that this is the reason why we are not able to go for a smaller size model. Just make note of all these things, your observations, your negative results, everything will be discussed during the evaluation stage. We will be very transparent during the evaluation stage. Let me just tell you that. Okay, although
yeah.
the
No.
40% weight, yeah,
In the
although the
phase one
40,
also, I wrote
hmm,
in the report that the smaller models are very inconsistent. At the
okay.
same report,
Fair enough. I mean, in phase one, we did not exactly avoid your observations in the report. We were mainly going after the leaderboard scores. But in phase two, all these things will be taken care of. Okay, we will be going over, like we will be discussing with you obviously, and we will be actually not only going over, but we will be awarding some pointers to all your observations. So that 40% weightage is going to cover a lot of things. It is not completely decided at what exactly we are going to look for, but whatever your observations are, anything that you are experimenting and you are coming up, in your solutions, or maybe you could not take that path. All your learnings are important for us. So all the things that you share with us, that is going to be awarded in some form. Okay, and that's why we kept a 40% weightage for this. So even if you are not able to come up with a smaller model, just mention the reason, and not only mentioning the reason, you can also share the results with us. Okay, the results that you got. Okay, and we will take care of that. That okay, I mean, which score to finally, calculate. So this time it's not that we are only going to, contact the top 5 teams on the leaderboard. It's not like that. We are going to contact many more teams because we don't know which teams are going to eventually, feature in the top 5 based on our evaluation criteria. So just be hopeful. It's not limited to the leaderboard only. I have been, repeating this line time and again on the Discord forum as well. So yeah, I mean, whatever observations you have, even if you are not able to go for a smaller model, just mention the reasons, mention your scores. We will try to take care of all these things during the evaluation phase.
sure. Thanks.
Yeah. By the way, what is your name? You have mentioned participant.
Vanch.
Vansh. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining.
Yeah.
I don't know why people are not joining. I mean, this was supposed to be a good session. We are keeping it on Sunday, and that too in the morning.
Also, Vansh, I was just thinking that maybe since you are trying different models, perhaps in the report you can have these analysis where you are, the x-axis is maybe the models and the y-axis is these matrix, and you can perhaps choose the one which is giving a better trade-off. And
Yeah,
then, of course, as we mentioned, that we'll be going over the report and analyzing everything from all the aspects.
sure. I'll do that. Like after this ends, I'll make a detailed report like of my observations. Uh, I have made a lot of observations from the data itself, like for data analysis
Mm-hmm.
as well as the model training part. So in my current
That's
job
great.
also I do the same work, so it's kind of similar.
Yeah, that will be great. Yeah.
Yeah, very nice. I think Professor Shravan also has a point on the evaluation of efficiency part. So, Professor Shravan, would you like to tell it yourself, or should I take it up? I think there is some problem with his mic. Okay, so what he's suggesting is that perhaps the peak memory usage, instead of the number of parameters, we can look up the peak memory usage. Okay, during the training process. So what probably he means is that during the training, let us say you are trying out some parameter efficient fine tuning techniques, right? So then, I mean, you are not fine tuning all the model parameters. So we will be differentiating between how many model parameters are you actually updating during the training process and how many model parameters are you using during the inference stage. You cannot do anything with the inference stage, right? I mean, during the inference stage, all the model parameters are going to be used by default because the input has to pass through the model. So during the inference stage, it's all fine. But we will look up like how many model parameters are you actually training. So basically how you are actually updating during the training phase. So we'll be differentiating between the two. It's not that if you are using the llama model, let us say which is of 8 billion size, then you are using all the 8 billion parameters. No, I mean we will be trying to be logical in our approach in the evaluation, and that's why we are also asking you that if you think that you have some suggestions, let us know. I mean, we are all ears. I mean, we want to hear from you your thoughts. Maybe we can benefit, all of us can benefit from your learnings, from your observations as well. So please share your thoughts. If you have anything in mind, just share. Okay, so this time I mean you know as against phase one, this time we are allowing you to make use of external data. Okay, how can you use the external data? You can think about pre-training the model, continual pre-training of the model. Okay. So yeah, I mean, you can make use of external data to improve your performance. So this is also, going to address the point which Vansh was making, that smaller models are not able to. Now, let us say you make use of some external data, and you pre-train your small model. Okay, and then you are observing some, good results even with a small model. That is actually something good. Okay, that is actually something we might be interested in. So you can try out these things as well. So continual pre-training, I'm just giving out some ideas which all of you can explore. Now it's already 40 minutes. We should not be waiting further. So let me just tell you the approaches that we had in mind. So one thing is that you can continually pre-train your models with external data. Whether you want to use your phase one data or not, that is up to you. That is still external to phase two. Okay, you cannot make use of the labels, obviously. But anyway, I mean, the labels are not going to help you in this phase, right? Because the labels are completely different. So don't think about the labels, but think about you making use of some external data in order to continually pre-train your model. So that is point one. Point two is um, you can integrate, you can think of a RAG approach. By RAG, I mean retrieval augmented generation, right? Yeah, Vansh, you have a point?
Sorry, it was a mistake. Sorry.
Okay. So yeah, so the second point was about RAG. So let us say the point was Vangsha's making, that the descriptions are not making sense. Absolutely right. The descriptions don't make sense. So what you can do? I mean, can you try to find out some additional information using those descriptions? If you can do that, please go ahead. So let us say you integrate a web search system, okay, along with your generative model. I'm just taking an example of a generative model. You can play around with a classification approach as well. So let us say you are taking up a generative approach and you want to enrich your input. So at the input side, what do you have? At the input side, you only have this gibberish looking description, which was obtained from the invoices. Then you have the prices. Okay, so just make sure that you are not ignoring the prices. Okay, this is a hint. Don't ignore the prices. There could be some correlation with your descriptions and prices. Okay, because a Coke 500 ml bottle will be probably priced around 40 only. And if there is a Pepsi bottle around 500 ml, that is also going to cost you around 40. If you have purchased cold drinks, if you have borrowed, I mean, yeah, I mean, if you drink cold drinks or any drinks for that matter, I mean, then you can understand that equal sized, packages are more or less kept around the same price. That can probably give you some hint. So try to make use of the price column. It's not given to you just for the sake of giving it. There is a meaning. Okay, so try to think from that perspective whether you can draw some correlation, because Vansh, you were also mentioning that you are doing some data analysis. It is to all of you, try to draw some correlation between the descriptions and the prices. And also you can think about drawing out the correlations from the other labels as well, which are part of your training data, right? So yeah, I mean, try to figure out if there is any correlation that is existing between the input features and the output labels, and also among the input features. The retailer information is anonymized, as we have already told you. The retailer information may not be directly used because the actual product might be coming from a different retailer. So the column of retailer is not much of that use, not of that much use, but the thing is that still you can draw some correlations. Okay, so because okay, I'm not very sure, but if a particular retailer has been changed to a different name, whether that name makes sense or not, I'm not saying that. Okay, but you can be certain that none of the retailers are the actual retailers. But the change that has been done, that is consistent across all the datasets. So for example, if A has been changed to B, that is the same in test set as well. And that is the same in train set as well. So even if the actual retailer information is not going to help you if you are making a web search with it, but you can still draw some correlations. Try to figure these things out. Okay, these are some hints that I'm giving. Then the point of RAG, retrieval augmented generation. So what you can do is you can probably think of a retriever system that you are building up. Okay, you draw also you make some interesting queries. What queries, that is up to you. You make some interesting queries with the given input features, and using those queries you build a RAG system, a retrieval system, which can retrieve some additional context for you using whatever resources you want to use. There is no limitation. Okay, it is up to you. Most often than not, we are going to use the web. So you try to search the web, try to get some additional information for the given description and price pair. I'm not deliberately, I'm not, considering the retailer information, because that is more or less that is going to be wrong. So make use of the description and the price columns. Try to come up with some interesting queries, search the web, retrieve additional information about the context, whatever you can retrieve, and append that before you generate or before you classify. So if you are building on a rack system like this can also help you to achieve higher performances even with a smaller model. Okay, so try to think of these things. So one is continual pre-training, One is drawing out the correlations between the input features and making use of them. Third is making use of a RAG system to get some additional information that you can send as additional context before you generate or before you classify. And yes, I mean during the first point, during the continual pre-training stage, you can make use of the external data that is also there. You can even think of applying some multimodal features, although there is no feature given to you. But during the RAG approach, let us say you are getting some images of the products. You can also make use of that. There is no limitation that you have to only deal with text. So you can make use of any input that can enrich your model. Okay. Don't just let yourselves be limited with text. The final output labels are text, that is okay. But in the input, if you are building an external RAG system or a RAG system, retriever system basically, then you can also think about making use of the images that are retrieved by your retriever. Okay. How to do that? That is up to you. Then you can, if someone is making use of the classification approach, then definitely look up the literature on extreme classification. Okay, so there are many approaches where even with a small model, you can basically tackle a large label space. I mean, our label space is very small in comparison to the literature on extreme classification. So they are dealing with millions of labels. Okay, we only have around 5,000 labels in the brand column, I believe. So our label space is very small. But if someone wants to exploit the extreme classification literature, please read through it. And there is a very well maintained repository by Professor Manik Verma from IIT Delhi. He is also associated with Microsoft Research, and they are actively, taking up this task of extreme classification. They are kind of the most authentic people as far as extreme classification is concerned in India. You should definitely look up their works and go through their repositories. They have a very well maintained repository. Professor Manik Verma from IIT Delhi. You can search extreme classification, you will get it. Okay, and then all the papers, their GitHub repositories, everything is there. So if you want to take up a classification approach, definitely look up those literature. It will help you. Okay. What else? Continual pre-training, multimodal features, retrieval augmented generation, extreme classification. These are some of the techniques that you can definitely explore. Yeah, if anyone else has some suggestions, I mean, we can always help the participants with. So please let everyone know. We are just discussing some suggestions. What else can we
Pruning
do?
could be one.
Sorry?
Training a 7B model, then pruning the parts which are not being used for this task.
Yeah, you can definitely look at distillation approaches. I
Yeah,
think
distillation pruning.
yeah,
Uh,
distillation is pruning, right? So definitely yes. So I'm just including that inside this parameter efficient fine tuning techniques. Although that is not logically the same thing, but the sense is the same kind of. When you are not updating all the model parameters, somehow you have figured out which ones to prune, okay, and which ones are
and
actually making an impact. Yeah.
and you reduce the model size as well by pruning. So
Yeah, absolutely.
helps.
You reduce the model size. You can play with parameter efficient techniques like low rank adaptation. You can try out prefix tuning. You can try out Galore. Galore is another parameter efficient fine tuning technique where you are able to update all model parameters, okay, but in an efficient way. So in LoRa, what happens is you are keeping all the original model parameters frozen. You are not touching the original model parameters. You just are injecting some adapted layers, and that is what you are fine tuning. That is what you are updating. Okay. So the original model parameters are all frozen. You can play around with LoRa. If you think that, okay, I mean, there are some restrictions, maybe updating all the model parameters are going to help, then you can also play around with Galore, Galore. You can search for it. You will get it. Okay, I think there is LoRa plus plus as well, but I think LoRa and Galore, these two are really good approaches. You can definitely, play around or explore these things. And definitely pruning. Yes, thank you, Vansh, for suggestion. I mean, pruning is something which you can definitely try out. try to see whether you can reduce the model size before you start your fine tuning or during the fine tuning stage. I mean, you can read the literature and think about it. So yes, I'm also trying to come up with some approaches or some suggestions for you. When I already shared some, but yeah, I mean, this forum is for you guys, so just speak up. Whatever you have in mind, whatever, even if your query seems like it is silly, please vent it out. I mean, we want to hear to it, and we can always address anything that you might be having. Please don't ask whether we can use the test data in the training part. That you can't. Also, you should not be using any test data, or I mean, in order to remain ethical, you should not be using any validation data or test data as part of the continual pre-training process. Okay, you anyway cannot, that's why we are not releasing the labels for this data. So you won't be able to really, you won't be able to exploit the labels, but whatever data is being supplied to you as part of the test sets, like the first intermediate test set and the final test set, don't try to make use of that data as part of the continual pre-training process, because that is not ethical. Okay, because tomorrow if the data set changes, your models will fail. So remain ethical, even if it, uh, kind of affects your overall performance by 0.5% or 1%. Don't try for something which cannot be appreciated. So yeah. Okay, Prem, Pankaj, Soham, thank you, all of you guys. Obviously, Vansh, all of you guys for joining in. You have been just listening patiently. If you have any questions, just let us know. It can be about anything, like from traveling to Bits Pilani Goa, or how much will be reimbursed. Anything, any query that you might be having, just speak up.
If I'm pre-processing my data, that the description is too short, so I am using GenAI to expand the description.
Yeah.
Then that is getting counted. Means I have 5 lakh rows, so converting them is also a huge task. So it is being tested or something like that.
I could not get your query. So you are expanding the given descriptions. Then what? What are you doing?
So in while evaluation, it will be considered that 5 lakh rows were converted, so this much time is being taken. Like that, I am asking.
No, no. Let us say we won't, deduct any marks for taking time in converting the descriptions to something more elaborate. So you can do that. We are only going to, take into account the final training times. Okay, and how you are training the model. Obviously, if you are doing it in two stages, like in continual pre-training stage and then in the fine-tuning stages, um, then there is two levels of training that is going in. We will be accounting for both the times, but I mean, be assured that we will be logical in awarding or deducting marks. It's not that something, I mean, some interesting approaches during the continual pre-training stage has been taken by some of the participants, and we are deducting because he or she is training the model for double the time. That is not going to be the case. Okay, so when I'm say about the training times, I mainly am talking about the final training times, the final fine-tuning stage, not about the pre-training stage. Okay, so try to come up with something novel. Okay, we will be absolutely logical in awarding or deducting marks, and we, like I said, this process is also going to be transparent. Although this evaluation is subjective, this 40% part of the evaluation is going to be subjective, but we will be transparent with you. We will discuss with you. Okay, while we are awarding the marks or while we decide on the marks. So that thing is still going to be there. But yeah, the time taken for data conversion won't be deduct. I mean, there won't be any deduction of marks for that. Yes, Prem.
Sir, can you repeat what you said last, pre-training and fine-tuning model timing?
So pre-training, I was just mentioning that if, let us say, you want to make use of some external data, it was not allowed in phase 1, but in phase 2 we are allowing that. you can make use of external data that you think would help your model. Okay, so you gather some external data. Obviously labels are not going to help here. You gather some external data, just the data, just let us say the input features or the sentences that you could gather, and with that you can first pre-train your model. Okay, we will be seeing like how much time you are investing behind pre-training of the model, but we won't be deducting marks straight away. I mean, even if we see, I mean, even if we have to deduct the marks, deduct marks in the sense that why we are deducting marks, not for the first 80% of the evaluation. This is only for the 20% evaluation part that I'm discussing now. There's only regarding the efficiency. So for efficiency, what we said is that we are mainly looking for solutions which are taking less time in training, less time in inference, and with lesser model parameters, right? Or model parameters during the
Yes.
training phase. So this is what we were discussing about the efficiency part. This only has 20% weightage. In this 20% of the weightage, my point is that if you are taking more time because you are pre-training the model before the actual fine-tuning stage, we won't say that no, you are taking double the time and we are going to deduct marks. It's not going to be like that. Okay, so even if we have to deduct marks, that will be very less because you're taking some more time. But because you are coming up with something novel, something interesting as part of the continual pre-training stage, you will be awarded 80% of the weightage in the other two criteria. Okay, so think of that. So even if some marks are deducted for taking more time, because we have to be fair with all the participants, even if some marks are deducted for taking more time, that will be multiplied with zero point 0.2, but you will be awarded some more marks which will be multiplied by zero point 0.8. So you can take that risk. That's what I'm saying. Okay, because continual
Okay,
pre-training is allowed this time. So you can continually pre-train your model before, so that your model becomes more aware of the domain, maybe more aware of of the final fine-tuning data set that you have, and then you can start your fine-tuning process. Okay, so you can think of that approach. Yes. Yeah, if something is not clear, let us know. I mean,
I just
I
have
will.
one question.
Yes, yes, yes,
Am I
Pankaj.
audible? Am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible, but okay, you ask your question. If there is some
Okay,
problem,
just
we
give
will
me
let
one.
you know.
Just give me one.
Okay.
Okay. I just want to know that, like, let's say if I'm getting an accuracy of 55% and my model is taking, let's say, in which latency is more compared to other one that is getting accuracy of 59%. Because so, like, what will be the score kind of thing at the last step you are evaluating?
So 55% with less latency, 59% with more latency. Which one to
Yeah,
choose? Is this your
yeah,
query?
yeah.
Okay. Um, See, 59% into zero point 0.8. Okay.
Okay,
And for latency, your marks will be deducted to the order of zero point 0.2.
okay,
So you can make a guess. I
okay.
think it is better to go for the 59% with more latency, because there's a huge difference there. 59% means it's a huge jump from 55%. Had it been, let us say, 0.5% or 1%, I would have said that, okay, you then go for the lower latency model.
Means when the score gets closer, then latency, lower latency will get preferred. Means score of the top
Yeah,
is gets
obviously,
closer.
because that might also
Yeah,
be a
yeah,
chance, right? I mean,
yes,
but
yes,
depending on your model, training, maybe if I train the same model in similar environments, I may not
yes,
be getting the exact same result. Maybe
yes,
some points are
mhm,
here and there
yes,
going off.
yes, yes.
Maybe
Plus
some
minus
points
one.
more, some plus minus one. So there, I think we will be going for the model which can produce the outputs faster. That means with low latency,
Yes,
right? Because
yes,
that makes sense. So,
yes.
but if it is a huge jump, I would go for the higher accuracy model.
Sure.
Okay, but again, I mean, whatever be your scores on the leaderboard, we are not going to call only the top 5 teams. Okay, we are this time we are going to call, or we are going to contact many more teams. Whatever observations you have, make sure that you are recording all of your experiments
Okay.
in some form. Okay, we will be going
Okay.
over all your experiments all the things that you have learned, so that we can also learn from your observations, from your experiments, and everything will be taken care of during the evaluation stage. Okay, your efforts are also going to be explicitly taken care of. In phase one, we were not explicitly avoiding any such thing. We were only going after the leaderboard scores, and that was intentional. But in phase two, we are making the evaluation as appropriate as it is for the industry. Okay, so we will be
Means so
taking.
like,
Sorry.
yeah, means you are saying that like how, let's say in the starting I'm getting less accuracy. How I means all the accuracies that I've got, all the submissions I have made, you will count
Yes.
all that.
Yes, we will count everything because there is this 40% weightage on the evaluation, on the
Yes.
subjective evaluation, right? So there we will be considering the learnings that you have
Yes.
observed during this participation. So the more you can give us information, higher the marks there. So 40% weightage is for that only. Okay, how you are coming up with the novel solution? Only the novelty of your solution won't be avoided, but how you are approaching
Yes.
the problem, how you are arriving at your final
Yeah.
novel solution, all those things will also be avoided because that is subjective. So we have not kind of explicitly
Okay.
decided upon the criteria. That is still subjective. Okay, and that's what I'm saying, that during that evaluation also we will be transparent with you, like why we are awarding this many marks or why we are deducting this marks. We will be discussing everything with you. Okay, the basis of our decision. So all these things will be shared. We will be transparent. It's just that your
Okay.
solution has to have some business impact. That is what we are looking for
Okay.
in phase two.
Just a
Thanks.
question. Will this potentially lead to a research role at Nelson IQ?
You can already apply. I mean, I have already, shared 3 openings, and Nielsen IQ is actually looking for good researchers. So the openings are already there. They have already been publicized in the Discord forum. They are already there on the Datathon website. You are encouraged to apply. So that we have already shared. And your, this Datathon rank that you get here, that is also going to count, during the interview process. So if you have a good score here, I mean, I will personally be, because I'm as representing both the parties, the IndoML organizing committee as well, and NIQ as well. So if I mean, they ask me like, who is this, then I can give you information about you, like what you tried, how you tried, how good are you, and all those things. Okay, so kind of a referral in disguise. So you can apply. Definitely, you are encouraged to apply.
So, thank you.
And during the symposium also, there will be people from NIQ. There is going to be, I mean, there are booths, that are going to be placed there, not only from NIQ, but from many other companies. So job opportunities are still going to be there. I mean, if you are participating in the symposium physically, like if you are, even if you are not in the top 5 or top 10 teams who are invited from our end, if you personally also want to participate, then there are some advantages that you can count, I mean, make use of. So job opportunities are going to be there not only with NIQ, but with others as well, with other companies as well, who are going to visit. Okay, any one of you have already participated in phase one? You are all new to phase two?
Yes.
Vangsh has
Yes.
also. Okay, so Shoham, Pankaj, you are new to phase two, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. Prem, you are also new to phase two?
Sir, I was in phase one, but I didn't submit my score.
Okay, okay, okay. And Vangsh?
I have participated in this one.
Okay. Oh, you submitted in phase one, right?
Yeah, I submitted in
Okay.
phase 1 and phase 2 as well.
Haha. No, I'm specifically asking about phase one because your certificates of participations are currently being prepared, so they will be
Okay.
shared with you. Okay. I think it will take some time. Probably at the end of the symposium they will be shared, but don't worry about the certificates. I mean, they will be shared. We are trying to expedite. If phase one, certificates can be shared sooner, that we are trying on our end. But yeah, I mean, certificates are being prepared, so don't worry. By the way, I mean, you can, I mean, I'm just trying to think of something that can be used. I mean, you can also try um, to make use of AI agents. I don't know how exactly you can use that, but um, I mean, this RAG can also be termed as a kind of agent, which is like you are asking something to the LLM, it does not have the information, it is searching the internet. So it is making use of a agent, let us say a web search agent, and then it is retrieving back the information, and that it is using before, I mean, for the generation or the for the classification approach. You can think of maybe some other AI agents if you can think of. So I'm just throwing some ideas at you, not exactly sure, but yeah, I mean, you can think along these directions. That can probably help you. RLHF would be too much, I believe, because that will involve a lot of manual effort in order to, yeah, I mean, you obviously don't have the test labels, but in the training data as well, if you can create, but how do you generate multiple label sets? So in RLHF, yeah, Shubhadeep, I think you have a point.
No, you continue.
Okay. In RLHF, that is reinforcement learning with human feedback. So this human feedback part is there, right? So let us say your model is generating multiple label sets, okay, multiple sets of 4 different labels, right? And then you choose which one is more appropriate. And these are your preferences using which you can train a reward model. And this reward model you can use in the final fine tuning stage again. I don't know, that will be probably be too much, may not be directly required for this task, but yeah, I'm just I'm repeating this thing that I'm just trying to share some ideas. You think whether it makes sense to explore them for the given task.
I think we should discuss about the final data and the other stuff related to that.
So the final data set will contain around 18,000 rows. Just a moment. Oh, 1 lakh, sorry, 1,84,665, 64. This is the size of the final test set. 1,84,664. Okay. So this is going to be the final test set, and it's almost it is going to have the similar kind of distribution that you are seeing in the train set, but new domains are going to come in. By new domains, I mean, let us say, which I've already shared on the Discord forum as well, that let us say there is this domain of baby care. Okay. Now you might not be seeing any descriptions in the train set, which is from this baby care domain. Okay. So you can expect such kind of descriptions in the test set. Okay. No new labels are going to be there, but the domains from which the descriptions are being taken, that that can change. So the input can be from new domains. That is what I'm trying to say. Um, inputs can be from new domains, but there won't be any new labels. As far as the label set is concerned, there won't be any new labels during the inference stage. And yeah, so 1,84,664 rows in the final test set, and it will be released, let us say around 17th or 18th of October. So you have 2 more weeks to explore the intermediate test set, after which the leaderboard will be refreshed. So we will announce that you can, take note of the current leaderboard. The leaderboard will be refreshed, and in place of that, we will upload the final test set, and a new leaderboard, will come into the picture. By new leaderboard, I mean the same leaderboard, just that no rows will be there. It will be refreshed completely, and then based on the new submissions on the new test set or the final test set, again the leaderboard will generate itself. So that's what I'm saying. And the current deadline is 25th. We are thinking about extending till 27th, 2 more days of extension. Um, so yeah, I mean that is all about the final phase. So I think you are going to get around 10 to 12 days for drawing out your results on the final test set, based on which your final scores will be calculated. And this I'm mentioning again, that whatever you submit on the leaderboard, your final scores are going to be calculated only based on that submission. So the novelty aspect and the efficiency aspect, that will be calculated based on that submission only, against which we are observing the scores. Having said that, please note, like I have already mentioned in this session today, we will be taking into consideration all the steps that you have followed, all the other results that you have got while arriving at your final solution. So your intermediate results, I mean, not the intermediate test set results, but your intermediate approaches are also going to be taken into consideration while we are awarding those 40% marks, okay, for the novelty. So while we are awarding for the novelty, it's not the novelty of your final solution that will be awarded marks. We are also going to consider the steps that you have taken in order to arrive at your final novel solution. So don't think that all your efforts are going to be wasted. All of your efforts, all of your observations, all of your learnings, anything that can have some positive business impact as part of as far as NIQ is concerned, everything will be taken into consideration during the 40% subjective evaluation phase. And yeah, negative results are also very, very much encouraged. Okay, anything that you observe that is not working, if you can share that with us as well, that is also going to fetch you marks. So those 40% weightage is absolutely flexible. It will depend upon how you are arriving at the final solution. We will keep the evaluation transparent, like I have been mentioning. We will keep the evaluation transparent, but it is going to be subjective. We will share marks with you. We will let you know our logic behind giving you the marks that we are giving it to you. But it is going to be subjective at the end of the day. So there are no fixed criteria against which we are going to evaluate on those 40% part of the things. But yeah, we will be keeping it transparent as possible. So welcome, Madhusudan. If you have any query, I mean, we have been discussing various approaches. So we discussed about continual pre-training of the model. You can make use of external data to continually pre-train your model. Then you can make use of RAGs, retrieval
Yeah.
augmented generation. Okay, this is something which you can try. I think you guys already came up with something interesting during the phase 1. I'm not going to say
Yeah.
that here. So you can build on top of that as well.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean, if you have any other questions, you can let us know
Question
and we can
means like
discuss.
till now. So what you have already discussed that I have missed. Sorry for that. So test set is not being released right till now. So you have given the training data set, and we have to prepare the model uh, based on that only, right?
No, the test set
Uh,
is already there. The intermediate test set is already there. The leaderboard is, getting populated day by day. We have already released the
okay.
intermediate test set almost around 1 week back, right, Shubhadeep? When did he release? 27th, 28th, around
Okay.
that. Yeah, I mean, we have already released the test set around 9-10 days back.
Okay,
So,
okay.
but that is
So
the
I did not
intermediate
check
test
that.
set. Please check it.
Okay, okay.
That is the intermediate test set. That is not the final test set. That has been given to you so that you can, have a feeling about how you are, where do you stand in comparison to others, and how your solutions are looking. And then the
Okay.
final test set, like I was mentioning, will be released around 18th of this month, and you will be
Okay.
getting around 10 to 12 days for that. Okay, so we are planning to extend the deadline by 2 days. So 27th will be the deadline instead of 25th, and you will be getting around 10-12 days. So maybe around 16th or 17th, not yet decided. Let this phase be complete. I mean, this intermediate test set be complete. I mean, this evaluation, and then we will maybe take 1 or 2 days, and we will release the final test set.
Okay. So one more thing that for preparing the model, like can we use that what you have mentioned that we can use external data kind of things.
Yes,
So
you can.
in okay, we can, right?
Right.
Previously,
It was not allowed.
it was not allowed. Okay,
Yeah. In phase two, it
then
is
it's
allowed.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
By external data, you can think about using the same training data that has been given to you. Obviously, in the
Yeah.
pre-training stage, you can understand that the final task-specific labels are not going to help you out, but you
Mm.
can always make use of the data that is there. I mean, the inputs that is there. You can make use of the phase one data if it helps.
Yeah.
Basically, anything that you feel can help in order to
Okay.
bring the model closer to the domain that you can use in phase two.
Okay. Okay. Got it. And mm,
One thing I want to mention about Madhusudan that uh, what is your team name?
sorry,
Kritrim, right?
I didn't.
What is
Krithim.
your
Krithim.
team?
Kritrim.
Yeah, so there are some submissions from Kritim in the
Okay.
final. So
Yeah.
should
Oh, so there are already submissions from Kritrim?
yes, yes, yes.
Then who is submitting that? Saptakatha.
Oh,
He has
Saptakota,
submitted.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
Saptakota. Because I was traveling from Bengaluru.
Acha, acha.
Because,
Okay.
okay.
Yeah, so you already
So
have a submission, so you can talk to your team members and
okay.
yesterday
Well,
itself he has submitted. On 5th,
yeah,
he has
yeah.
submitted.
Today only
Hmm. So you
I'll
are
check.
currently, I think, standing 6th on the leaderboard. But again, I mean, the leaderboard scores are only one part of the game.
Yes.
They are not the final thing. So
And this leaderboard is not the final one. Like
yeah,
this,
anyway, this is not the final
Yeah.
one. True.
are we done for this session? Rajdeep,
I don't
the
know. I don't know if anyone else is going to join, but at least let us
like
wait for 10 more minutes. Hmm.
we have mostly covered the things that we were planning to discuss actually.
Yes, yes, absolutely. I mean, I'm just suggesting that let us just wait for 10 more minutes and then we
Yeah,
can
yeah,
leave.
yeah. And one thing you can talk about the prize money for the phase one and
Yeah,
like
so the
there were
phase
some
one prize
prizes.
money is getting, I think all the phase one winning teams have already shared. Shomi has already shared that final sheet with us. Um, so the phase one prize money is being processed. That much I can tell you. When exactly that will reflect in your account, not exactly sure, but maybe in the next week, we are expecting to, process that as soon as possible. Okay. So the account details are there with us. It has been shared with the team that will be processing the prize money. So things are in process. Okay. We will be updating once the prize money has been transferred. We will be updating on the Discord forum, and then you can check if there are any discrepancies. You can let us know. Yes, Pankaj, you have a question? So in phase one, like we already have told, it was mainly, to, uh, you know, gain some interest, some excitement about the process. So we were not distinguishing between the teams. So every team is going to get 4,000 rupees. It's just kind of a token of appreciation for participating and taking interest. In phase two, the prize money is going to be more, obviously. So 40,000 is the prize money for the top ranked team in phase two, which is the final phase, this one. 40,000, then 30,000 for rank two, 20,000 for rank three, and the 4th and 5th ranked teams will be given 10,000 each. So this is the prize money that we have decided for phase two. And obviously, along with that, all the winning teams, not only the winning teams, but even the top next best 5 teams, most probably all of them are going to be called, invited to attend the symposium for free. By free, I mean your 3-tier AC tickets will be reimbursed. The limits will be shared. I think by today, I will be able to share the limits of reimbursement. Your train tickets will be 3-tier AC train tickets will be reimbursed. Along with that, you will be getting free accommodation at the campus. And then your lunch and dinners are also going to be covered. I think on most days, if dinner is not covered on one of the days, I think that will be announced later. But mostly all your meals will be covered, but the breakfast is on you. But I think that you can manage. But other things are going to be taken care of. So yeah, I mean, there are additional perks. And when you visit the symposium, you can meet anyone you want. There will be participation from many companies. Their executives will be there. You can discuss with them about possible opportunities. So all kinds of interactions you can expect that happen in a conference that is going to happen here as well. IndoML is a premier forum. It has really grown up to be a premier forum for ML in India. So you can expect good people to visit. You can all enjoy, good talks that are, I mean, world-renowned speakers are going to come. They are going to visit the symposium physically, and they are going to interact with us. So definitely, participate well. Try to come up something novel. Take interest in it. This is actually going to benefit even beyond your participation in the Datathon. Datathon is just one part of the whole symposium. Okay, so just gear up for this. I mean, I sincerely hope that all of you, I can see all of you during the symposium. It's you only who is going to benefit, out of your interactions with others. So yeah, I think I declared the prize money 40,000, 30,000, 20,000, 10,000, 10,000. That is how we are going to award. The next 5 teams, like I was mentioning, they won't be getting the prize money. That's okay. But mostly you will be all invited, and all your expenses are going to be covered to attend the symposium. Why I'm saying most of you? Because we are also going to invite some good Samaritans that I have already discussed here. Um, all those participants who are actively taking part in discussions on the Discord forum, who are trying to help each other out, who are participating in both phases, phase 1 and as well as phase 2. Anyone who has constantly taken interest in the happenings, in the all the events. So we are just making note of all those people, and we are going to call few of them. So in total, we are going to call around 30 participants, Datathon participants, that will involve as many teams as we can cover, and then some good Samaritans. So in total, there will be 30. And if all the 10 teams can be accommodated within 30, I think that will be accommodated, because not all teams have 3 members. So let us say 25, 26 people are there. Then we will be calling all the top 10 teams. And then 4 will be the good Samaritans. So this is how we are thinking. 30 Datathon participants will be called in total. Yes, so we are here for 5 more minutes. I mean, if any of you have any further questions, please let us know. It can be related to anything, even beyond the Datathon, like participation in the IndoML certificates, prize, um, how do we reach Goa, um, anything that you want to discuss. I mean, we are all looking for your queries.
I think we don't have any more questions. So I am stopping the recording.
Uh,
I should,
2 more minutes maybe.
okay.
Yeah. After that we stop. Not only the recording, but we stop the session. I think it's 1:27:53. So let us just take it for 1:03. I mean 1 hour 30 minutes, and we stop the recording.
Sure.
So we need to write again the technical report, right? After the leaderboard evaluation.
Yes.
Yes, yes. I mean, other than that, how do we know how you have
Then
tried
there
out
will
your
be again
experiments?
that same interactive sessions that we have.
Absolutely. That's what I'm saying. That during the evaluation stage also, the 40% weightage part. Okay. So we will be
No, that
interacting with you. We will be
okay.
telling you like why we are giving away those many marks that we are
Okay.
giving. Okay. So there will be a full-fledged interaction with you, and maybe for a longer time than in phase one. Okay. So we will be discussing with you, and this time many more teams are going to be called, right? Because
Yeah.
we don't exactly know who is the top five. Leaderboards are
Yes.
just one part.
Yes. Got it. Yeah. Thanks.
Okay. So any final questions? Okay, then thanks all for joining. We organizers are really, putting efforts behind making the interactions as easy as possible.